is kind of funny.
I didn't bat an eye, brother. I didn't bat an eye.
Speak for the one. So are you able to share your screen for a second?
I'm not going to show your screen. I'm not going to show your screen.
No, I want you to share your screen of the quote, if you don't mind.
No, I'm not going to do it. Go. Okay, I got somebody backstage. Let me see. Okay. All right, Dean, you able to hear me, buddy?
Yeah, can you hear me?
You said backstage that there is a development of doctrine in the interpretation of Mark 13:32. Where's the development? Who is interpreted differently throughout history?
Okay, so Mark 13:32 is also mentioned in Matthew 24, right? So from my reading, the apparent reading of like how the authors are presenting Jesus, it's that he literally does not have knowledge of the hour, and not that the term oiden is used in a declarative sense. So from my reading on the apparent,
hold on, Dean. That wasn't what you said backstage. Number one, you're wrong there. Yeah, number two, where's
I'm building
Dean,
the case.
Yep. Excuse me? You what?
I'm just building the case here. So
you said that there's a development of doctrine. So where's the development?
Okay, so just give me a minute to like just make the case. Then
hold on. I'm not going to give you a minute to make the case. I want examples. If backstage you made the statement that there's a development of interpretation, there's a development of interpretation, give me examples in the early church.
Sure.
It's not a matter of you going, taking your time, giving your theological opinions and whatever you think.
Give me the examples. Part of my, sure. So let me explain why it's relevant. So I believe that Mark and Matthew, the intentions of the authors is that it means knowledge. So that's part of my case. So if you just let me finish. So
hold on. Yeah. I'm going to answer you that. Whatever you believe is perfectly fine. And I can tell you that you're wrong because number one, you cannot exegete the Greek. And number two, you said there's a development of interpretation. So you can talk about what you think all day and all night, Dean. The problem is I want the example of the development of interpretation. I don't want you sitting here and with all due respect, buddy, I'm not being mean or rude to you. With all due respect, I do not care what you think. I want you to show me where the development of this interpretation is, because I've got a whole massive document here of the patristic interpretation of Mark 13:32, which says, of the day and the hour, no one knows, neither the angels in heaven nor the Son, but only the Father. So I've got the Fathers in front of me. Where's the development?
Yeah, sure. So as I said, like Mark and Matthew, I believe from the apparent reading of their texts, you can derive what the interpretation is, as well as Irenaeus is the earliest quotation we have of the interpretation of Mark 13:32.
What does Irenaeus say?
Yeah, you're gonna have to like let me make my case. So
no, I'm not gonna let you ramble, my friend. You're gonna have to read Irenaeus and show me where he interprets this differently.
So firstly, can we establish that your interpretation is that Jesus does have knowledge of the hour in his human nature?
Jesus has knowledge of the hour completely because he is a God man. He is the God man, and the human nature and the divine nature are perfectly united. Now we know, hold on, buddy, stop interrupting me. And we know, according to what the Bible says, that there are certain things that he has veiled to himself. And we've covered this before. I'm pretty sure that you're the one that connected the last time, and we went over this already more times than one already. The fact of the matter is the Father's
I haven't discussed with you before.
Well, I've had a number of Muslims that connect, and they always bring up Irenaeus. And then I've gone over Irenaeus. He says nothing at all about Christ being ignorant in and of himself, being ignorant outside of the human nature. So unless you're going to show me where Irenaeus supports your opinion of this verse, I just don't see it there, my friend. I've got Irenaeus open. I've got St. Augustine. But go ahead and show me where there is a development of interpretation here.
Okay. So can we just agree that your interpretation of Irenaeus is that Jesus is ignorant of the hour in his human nature or not?
Read Irenaeus for me, buddy. Read it. Put it in the
screen. I want to know your interpretation of Irenaeus.
I have no idea where you're referring to. There's a number of areas where Irenaeus
Against Heresy's book 2, chapter 28.
Book 2, what?
Chapter 28, section 6.
Chapter 2. Okay, Irenaeus, book 2, chapter what?
28. Section 6.
Man, you're gonna have to come up with a passage next time, brother. I'm having to pull all this up because you don't even have it. You don't even have it ready.
I have it right in front of me. I can share my screen if you want.
Here. Okay, 20 what? Chapter what?
You can just share my screen because you said I wasn't ready. So just put up my screen.
I don't trust you sharing your screen, my friend.
So why do you tell me to have it ready? Like, okay, whatever.
I'm just worried. I don't want you to. Hold on. 20
it's
what?
It's fine. Book 2, chapter 28, section 6. I said like 5 times.
28. Chapter Chapter 28?
Yes.
Okay, tell me what it begins with. Tell me the words.
But beyond reason inflated within your own wisdom, you presumptuously maintain that you are acquainted with the unspeakable mysteries of God, while even the Lord, the very Son of God, allowed that the Father alone knows the very day and hour of judgment, when he plainly declares,
Yes, allowed. Yes, of course. Okay. That's the exact point that we've been making from the very beginning. That's the exact point that Irenaeus says over and over, that there is a self-veiling, as is laid out in Philippians 2. Over and over, allowed. That's the key word there, brother. Exactly. That's the exact point that we've made over and over. It is a kenosis, a self-emptying. What here says to you that Saint Irenaeus believes that Christ was subordinate? Rather, it says that he allowed. There's you got nothing here, my friend.
No worries. So I'll let you speak. Just let me speak if you don't mind. So are you able to share your screen for a second?
I'm not going to share your screen. I'm not going to share your screen.
No, I want you to share your screen of the quote, if you don't mind.
No, I'm not going to do it. You can put it in the chat.
What's the reason behind
that? Put the quote in the chat, and I'll put it in the screen. Put it in the chat, and I'll put it here.
What's the reason why you can't put up the quote? I don't understand.
My friend, I just said you can put it in the chat, and I'll put it in the screen for you.
Sure.
I'm not going to share my screen. I'm not going to share yours.
No worries. So
you just read it. You just read it for the audience, and you just showed how it says that he allowed, meaning that this was done by his own accord. Not that Christ is ignorant of anything naturally, but rather that is the veiling that we speak about, the veiling that Irenaeus also speaks about. I don't know what you're trying to prove, my friend. You just proved it for the audience by reading that.
Section 8 of the same chapter in the same book, he says, "For if anyone should inquire the reason why the Father, who has fellowship with the Son in all things, has been declared by the Lord alone to know the hour and the day of judgment, he will find at present no more suitable or becoming or safe reason than this, since indeed the Lord is the only true master, that we may learn through him that the Father is above all things. For the Father says he is greater than I. The Father, therefore, has been declared by our Lord to excel with respect to knowledge." That's section 8. So stop trying to read into Irenaeus.
My friend, yet again, you prove my point yet again. Let me school you now, because yet again, and let me make this large. Yet again, let me prove my point. Two key words there. Yet again, allowed and according to. And how is he greater? He is greater in his human nature. He notes multiple times over and over when he returns to the Father, to the glory that he had before the foundation of the earth, that this is very clear, that he is all-knowing and nothing is veiled anymore. This is referring to his human nature, because he talks about allowing this particular kind of veiling. There's nothing here that supports your position at all, my friend. So yet again, I'm going to ask you. Here Irenaeus says that this was allowed by Christ, and the Father is greater than the Son. In what way is the Father greater than the Son? Number one, positionally. And number two, he talks about him returning to heaven, to the glory that he had with the Father before the foundation of the world. If they both have the same kind of glory, how can he be in his nature, in his very divine nature, how can he be lower than the Father? It doesn't make any sense at all. Here's the other point. Hold on. I'm not done, buddy. Here's the other thing.
You're going to have to speak as well then. Go ahead.
I'm going to have to let you speak. I don't have to let you speak at all here, buddy. I don't have to let you speak at all. I'm not done. I'm not done. So here's the other thing you just said. You said backstage, by the way, you butchered St. Irenaeus, but you said backstage that there is a development of interpretation here. So I want to know where Irenaeus says that this was allowed, meaning Christ by his own power, his own will, allowed this veiling, meaning he had the power to not veil himself with this knowledge. What Father says differently of this?
Okay, so the response is going to be like this. He says explicitly, my Father being
I want you to answer for me. Yeah. Which Father says differently?
2 words. Like, come on,
no, buddy. I'm not gonna let you. I'm not gonna let you go on a rant. I'm not gonna let you rant.
You wanted yourself.
Give me the name. Give me the name of the fathers that interpreted it differently. Don't rant. Okay. Go ahead.
Okay. After I give you the names, you're gonna let me expand, or you're just gonna let me say one word?
I want the names of the fathers that interpreted this differently. Is what I want. And give me the evidence. You tried to give Irenaeus, that didn't work, because you read the quote and it says that he allowed this, which if it is allowed, what does that mean? That means that Christ on his own accord allowed this, meaning that exactly what we say in Philippians is the case right here. There is a veiling, an emptying, a self-emptying. So there's nothing here that goes against Trinitarian teaching at all.
All right. So
Give me the evidence, buddy.
The responses you have like Augustine, and you have like post-Nicene fathers, or not just Nicene, but even post-Nicene fathers like Athanasius. They also contradict this. But the point is, there's the fathers after.
Okay, give me the evidence.
The point where
Read
the heresy.
No,
I am not
going to let you rant, buddy. You're not going to rant with me here. Give me the evidence in the quotes. If they differ from Saint Irenaeus, I don't want you ranting and giving the names. Give me the evidence. Saint Irenaeus says it was allowed by Christ, showing that he's not subordinate to the Father. If it's allowed by somebody, they're not subordinate, buddy. Give me the evidence where Saint Irenaeus or anybody says differently than actually Saint Ignatius or Saint Athanasius or anyone. Where do they say differently than Irenaeus?
Okay. As I said, he said, my father excels with respect to knowledge. So it doesn't matter. It's a red herring about him allowing him. Do you understand?
No, it is not, because
he didn't address that point.
I just addressed it. He said,
does the Father excel?
It was allowed. Stop ranting.
Does he excel with respect to knowledge?
I want you, you know what, brother? I'm not going to waste my time. If you want to come back and answer. Read the quote.